Hey YouTube, I'm outside church today because in today's episode we're reviewing the Bricktown Church MOC. Hi guys and welcome to Brick Talk TV. Terry here, and in this video I thought I'd share with you one of my own creations or MOCs. Before we get started though on this review, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to some of the newest subscribers that have joined the channel recently. So welcome to Paul Monaco and Smeets 2000. I hope you found this channel interesting. So back to the MOC. The MOC I'm sharing today is actually the first one I've ever built. It's my Bricktown Church. Now the instructions for this MOC and all my other MOCs are available on rebrickable.com, and the link is in the description below, and it's also on screen now for those of you that want to follow it through. In the future videos I'll be explaining my usual MOC process, but for now let's get on with the review of this Bricktown Church MOC. This model is built on two standard 32 by 32 base plates. I used the bright green colour, was my choice because of the appearance. I really wanted grass in the graveyard and also for around the gravel. I was striving to make the appearance fit in with other modulars, and I tried to have a cartoon appearance without going too full on in terms of sophisticated looking architecture for the church, but I wanted to have hints of that. So the model is made up of 3,937 parts, predominantly in light bluish grey colour. When creating the model, I kind of wanted to look at how I could develop a backstory to kind of bring the model to life. So in this case I kind of focused on little baby Bertie, who's there in the centre, and it's his christening that everybody's attending. So along the lineup we've got the vicar who's actually doing the service. You've got the grandfather of baby Bertie, you've got baby Bertie's dad, baby Bertie's mum, you've got his uncle, parishioner, his auntie, and another unfortunate parishioner who looks like they're having a bit of bad luck, so that's probably why they're at church. The vicar is a custom minifigure that's available at minifig.me. Details again are in the description below and on screen now. Just wanted to cover some of the external features that we've got here. So as it's based on double plates here at the front, we've got quite a long pathway or pavement in front. So I kind of wanted to add a little bit more detail than your standard paving stones. So obviously you've got the standard lamppost, which is a must for all modulars, but I've also added in some cycle racks here so we can put some bicycles so anybody who's visiting church can safely lock their bicycle away. We've also got detail along the perimeter of the church. So I've got the nice fence detail, which is ideally depicting iron railings that you typically see in a church. We've also got some little statues that sit on top of the pillars of the wall. So you've got two small frogs either end, and then the main entrance is flanked by two great owls. And then this nice, what I think is quite a nice little touch, is I've put a little board here where you can put actually what sermons are being spoken during the service today. I've chosen a typical statement that you see in lots of churches and usually at football grounds as well, but you can customise those letters to mean anything you like. But I've tried to keep it religious. Then as you move into the church area, the main focus is there's a graveyard here. So you've got 5 gravestones. 3 of them are similar in terms of the gravestones, but then you've got 2 that have got statues and one which is a sort of a cross-shaped, all decorated with flowers. You've got this nice gravel detail that goes round using different coloured tiles to try and give a different effect rather than just plain grey. I was trying to spark some colour into the surroundings. You've got some flower beds that are placed throughout both sides of the church, plus this main door here, which I'll talk about in a second. Originally I was going to put some bushes in here, and actually I've still got the bushes, they're at the back, but I found they were supposed to be sitting sort of here in each of these buckets, but they're too bushy to fit into the small space, so I had to redesign it during the build, and I've actually now put those bushes to give it some detail along the back, although it won't really be seen usually in most cities. So then you've got all of those flower beds there, as I mentioned. So now what I'll do is I'll jump into the ground floor and I'll move up through the different aspects of the separate builds that we've got here, so you can see the detail, and then we'll zoom in into more of the internal detail as well. So let's take a look now at the bottom level of the church. The overall size of the church and sort of the shape of it here is uniformed of a cross, which is I think a typical shape that you'd see when you look down on a typical church. You've You've got two main entrances with big massive doors here, big wooden doors, got one there. You've also got one on this side as well. The reason there's two doors is one was general for the parishioners every Sunday to enter, and actually this one would make a great entrance for a wedding, so that's the reason there. Because in this section here you've got several pews that are set up, each one's built individually out of bricks. You've got 5 on each side, so you've got 10 pews in total going through there, and you've got a little walkway where a bride could walk down. You've also got addition of a magazine rack at the back, which is used really to give out news flyers and newsletters for parishioners. You've got a nice candelabra in the corner as well with some candles in. So you've got 2 stained glass windows on each side with an arch. They're made from trans clear or trans coloured plates stuck onto actually fence panels that are stuck together to form the leading of the window. As you move into this main section here, you've actually got the font where baby Bertie is going to be christened today. You've then also got a confessional box which can pull out as a separate build. Here you've got 2 doors that open with some seats inside, so then people can sit in here with the vicar and you can confess your sins away, which is quite a nice added touch. I did originally actually want brown doors here, but this piece doesn't come in brown, so I had to opt for a grey colour instead. Just bear that in mind. And then that sits nicely inside a designated area there. Throughout the ground floor we also have detailed tiling with some flat silver arch tiles as well around, just to give it a sense of grandeur. As you move through then from the font into this back area, this is actually where the altar is. So there's a pulpit here where the priest can sit, where we've got the Bible situated on a stand as well. Behind him is the altar itself with more candles and some objects there that they would use during the ceremony. It's on a raised platform, so it is stepped up. And then there's an inclusion of more stained glass windows. You've got 3 that surround each of the walls here. And actually the one at the back is actually a rose window, so it's a big circular window with some different colours in. And then there are also in each corner 2 additional candlesticks. On the outside, on the base, you've got a couple of gargoyles that sit above each doorway, just to give it a bit more detail there. And then it's all done in a brick stone effect, so you can see all of the bricks going around the outside. So that pretty much wraps up the internal detail of the ground level. I've already mentioned the external features with the gravestones, and there's some bushes around the back as well. You can see here, this is the back of the modular. There's still some detail there, but not as much on the ground in terms of the flowers. I've just put some bushes there, as I didn't think it would be exposed, particularly not in my city, in a great level of detail. So that's the ground floor internal detail. So now we'll move over to the next levels, and I'll walk through each of those. So this next level, this is actually situated above the altar on the base that you saw a minute ago. So here you can see there's detailed tiling on the roof, and if I turn it around this way, you can see into how it looks from the side. You've also got detailed bricks here, so where we've got the arch windows, we've changed a bit of detail to give it a different texture and feel. And actually what happens is you can lift off this roof here, and then underneath you can see that this is where the choir would normally sit. So you've got the seats available there for the choir, and you've got this nice organ that sits in the back which plays the music for any of the services that happen inside the church. There are some barriers that go across here as well, but they're fixed, you may have noticed, to the base section. So when you clip it back in, you can actually get some barriers here to stop the parishioners from falling out. So that's that level, and this roof goes on nicely here, give it a bit more detail. So now we'll have a look at the middle piece. So in this middle piece, which sits right in the middle above the font on the base area, this bit is pretty much empty. You've got the 2 features of the rose windows here, both with stained glass behind them, so if you shine a light through you get a nice effect. And as you move up to the clock tower or the steeple, you've got the weather vane at the top with the chicken or cock on top. Obviously you can choose whatever animal you wanted, but I felt the chicken was probably the best suited one. You've got the clock faces here as well, and they're featured on both sides of the church. But then this side is actually arched over, so you can see a bell. So a bell is rung in the middle there. when the clock hits an hour mark. You can actually detach this section as well, so that's separate, but then there's nothing actually that goes on inside here. It's just the detail of the stained glass window. It just adds a bit more height, so we get a bit more height from the clock tower that sits inside. So that's that section. I'll now move on to the other section that was above the pews. So above the pews, this is the other area that sits on top of the base plate. You've got the detail around of the arched windows, and again we've added a bit more texture here with some log type bricks. And as you move up here, you've got some studded pearl steel or silver, pieces here, just to give it a bit more texture. This roof bit carries on, so you can actually lift this part of the roof off, and that detaches. And then these parts detach as well, so this part comes off as one. So then you can get access into more detail here. And as you can see in here, you've got some nice wooden beams that go over the top. You've got some nice chandeliers to give the church some light in the base. And you've also got a viewing gallery here, some more seating area at the top for more parishioners to sit, so they can look down at the service as it's happening. And then there's a gap there, obviously, so that people can see down. And that's the detail of the MOC. So this church is packed full of detail, and I found it an enjoyable build. Although having designed it, I probably would say that, wouldn't I? So I mean, even if you're not religious, and I'm not, this church would look really good in any cityscape or any Lego city, and gives a place for your religious minifigs to go and pray. So if you like this, you want to build this church, check out the links to the instructions in the description below. Go ahead and smash the like if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get more MOC reviews in the future. I'll also be covering my West End Theatre and my courthouse soon, so watch out for that. And until those videos drop, stay safe, and I will see you next time.